I used to go broke just a few days after getting paid, like every single time. And the crazy part is, I thought that was normal. Fast forward a few months later, I bought my first car in full, moved out at 22, and finally felt in control of my money, all while working a regular job. No crazy business and no six-figure income. So what changed? Because the truth is, Gen Z isn't broke because we're lazy. We're broke because nobody taught us how money actually works. And once I figured that out, everything changed. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system I used to go from broke to independent at 22 so you don't stay stuck living paycheck to paycheck. Alright, quick reality check. If you're going broke a few days after getting paid, it's not because you don't make enough money. It's because of how you're using it. And I had to learn that the hard way. There was a point where I was literally tired of seeing my bank account hit zero over and over again. Like, imagine working all week just to feel broke again by Friday. That's a cycle that will trap you for years if you don't fix it early. So I decided to change something. Not my job and not my income, my system. And this is where most people mess up. A lot of people think saving money means just moving money into their savings account and calling it a day. But let me ask you something. How many times have you transferred money into your savings and then transferred it right back out? Exactly. That's not saving. That's just delaying your spending. What actually changed the game for me was making my money harder to touch and easier to grow. I stopped treating my savings like a backup checking account and started treating it like something I wasn't allowed to touch. And when I did that, everything changed. Because now, instead of my money just sitting there, it started working for me. And this is where most Gen Z completely misses out. We don't just need to save money, we need to put it in places where it grows. Even if it's slow at first. Because slow motion is still better than no motion. And I know some of you are thinking, bro, I only have like $5 to save. Alright, cool, start with 5. Because the habit matters more than the amount. I went from saving small amounts to watching my money stack up over time. And that's what led to me being able to actually afford real things. Not just survive, but move forward in life. And once you see your money growing instead of disappearing, it changes how you think completely. So if you're struggling to save money or you wish to become more financially literate, this video is for you. And I have one thing to say to you. Just do it, bro. Do you know how common it is for someone to become overwhelmed with this type of information that they literally don't do anything? Your number one priority should be to act on what you know. If you have a job and get paid weekly, you can set aside that money into a savings account or stash it under your bed in a shoebox even. But that method should only be used if you don't have a savings account or simply need cash. Otherwise, there are better ways to go about growing your net worth and making your money work for you. More than a few months ago, I got into saving heavy on my earnings because I was honestly tired of going broke shortly after each check, basically living frugal. And I learned something that I want to share with you all. What I learned is when it comes to saving money for whatever your reason is, college, a new home, business, etc., you have to be intentional about how and why you're doing it. Simply transferring some money to the savings account connected to your checking bank account isn't going to cut it long term because that money is still easily accessible. You don't want to be tempted to touch it. You don't even want to see it as often as you open your mobile banking app. What you need to do instead is find a third-party investment app or website that will allow you to create a free account to store your saved money into. And here's the kicker. That account that you open up has to give you interest on your savings, otherwise you might as well just keep it in the shoebox. And the reason I'm telling you it must be savings on an interest account is because that is truly how you're able to grow your money. Also, your money is keeping up with inflation. You ever heard of the compounding effect? Basically, the money you save will compound over X amount of time, creating more money than you originally started with. Now, this is useful because not only is your money now working for you, but you're soon going to understand why saving this way at a young age will get you to your goals faster than a shoebox. I mean, take it from me. I'm 22, recently married, I work a normal retail job, and I have decent financial literacy. A couple months ago, I and my wife paid in full our first car together using this savings method I'm telling you about. And a couple months later, we're getting ready to sign a lease to our first apartment together at just 21 and 22 years old. We each have one source of income, so it's nothing crazy. I'm literally a normie, maybe like you are too, but I'm telling you this because you might only have a 9 to 5 and that's it. But that shouldn't diminish your abilities to perform better financially and actually want to become more financially successful. That doesn't have to mean be the richest one in your family or be a millionaire. It simply means you decide on what financial success looks like to you and then work towards that goal. I used to think I achieved these things way later than the average person in my age group, but that was just because I was brainwashed by social media norms and 18-year-olds with six-figure businesses flashing the luxury lifestyle. And by the way, that is like 1% of people my age who become that successful early on. And not everybody will be able to move as quickly as they wish, but with the right steps, you honestly can do it too. Just take it one step at a time. Even if you only have $5 to save right now, start with 5. And next week bump it up to 10 and so on. Just make sure you're saving an amount you can still live with. And just don't dump every penny into a savings account and struggle only eating ramen the rest of the week. And don't stop taking the necessary steps to actually grow in this area. Or else you might be someone who lives paycheck to paycheck for the rest of your life and can't afford to have fun or even save for retirement. And so much of Gen Z feels like they won't be able to live how they want because of the world right now. Politics, job opportunities, housing costs, you name it. I even feel this way, but the difference between me and someone who isn't taking the steps to change that is that I began taking the steps to change that. I don't care. I won't be stuck feeling like a victim of my surroundings. That would only be the case if my neighborhood was blown up or something. God forbid. Anyways, I understand that most of us weren't taught good financial literacy, and if I walked up to a random high school student and asked them, "What are you doing to secure your financial future?" they would probably give me the Gen Z stare like I'm some random unk trying to give them wisdom, and their answer would be, "I have a money shoebox under my bed." But all I'm trying to say is that's not all there is to it. Ideally, when you start making more money and being able to save more at a single time, you should consider a few things. The first is to invest into a vehicle that can multiply your income potential. This can be in the form of a business like buying real estate or even paying for more education. But the bullseye I want you to aim for if you're in this situation is to find a way to open up a Roth IRA or an interest account. Okay, time to put you on. Go in the App Store right now and download this app called Marcus by Goldman Sachs. It's available on Apple and Android and it's free. And once you create an account and put all of your information in, press the Open a New Account tab and pick the online savings account under account type and click create account once you finish that screen. Also, I'm not getting paid to put you on, so if you're willing to grow, I hope you follow along. The reason I'm telling you to do this is because this is what helped me start saving efficiently. And honestly, this made saving my money look way more attractive. Some nice things about having this account, and I won't get into too much detail, is it's easy to use. You can set up recurring transactions, open multiple separate accounts, and best of all, for this online savings account, your money is gaining interest annually. Every month it grows a small percentage, but over time, and the more you add to it, that money adds up. It may look slow at first, but that's how compounding works. The reason I shared this is because as an employee, you can only go so far, trading your time for money, and you have to deal with the cap on your income, etc. But if you own the business or invested it somewhere, your ability to multiply your money would increase because now you have an extra basket to lay your eggs in. And that's how the rich get richer. Shoot, you ever wonder how parents, when their child is ready for college, will usually pay for their tuition and not break the bank? That's because they had a system set in place to where once their kid grew older and became more dependent on money, they had it sorted out through investment accounts like Roth IRAs or another reliable basket to multiply their wealth in so their kid doesn't struggle financially like some of us have to today. The second thing to consider is to live more frugal. Personally, this helped me out a lot because once I became more comfortable spending less, I started to understand the value of money, and I also realized what I was spending my money on wasn't really necessary. I mean, think about it. How many times have you thought to spoil yourself right when payday hits? And how much of that was actually needed versus wanted? So I say this to emphasize the importance of having control over your habits and ensuring you won't regret that $100 pair of hypebeast shorts or wig that you bought. That's for any ladies watching. And sure, spending $100 on a new set of nails can be reasonable, but please do it in moderation and keep track of how often you're doing it. And that leads me to the last thing to consider. And when I did this, I realized where I was going wrong. What you should try to do, even if you decided to ignore everything else I said, is to track your spending. I repeat, track your spending. Create a spreadsheet that you can add to every time you spend even $1. This is super important because not only are you able to see what you're spending your money on, But now you have what I like to call personal accountability. This step allows you to track where all of your money is going. And try this for a month. What will happen is, after that month, you can sit down and check how much you actually spent each week for that month. Either you will be proud of yourself or you will have some conviction because you don't feel good about some of those purchases. And yeah, we've all been there. Also, I like to say that whenever you get paid or make some money, add that to the spreadsheet as well. It'll help you keep track of how much you actually made that month and how much of it you have left over after the expenses. If one month is too challenging for you, just try it for 2 weeks. But the goal of this exercise is to have awareness on your spending habits and expenses. Just try it and let me know what you see. And by the way, you have free access to this in the description. Just click the link and make a copy. It's yours to keep. And at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you financially. Not your job, not the government, not even your family. And yeah, that might sound harsh, but it's also the truth that changed my life. Because the moment you accept that is the moment you take control. Most people in our generation are stuck in this loop of making money, spending it, and wondering why nothing changes. And if you don't break that cycle now, it will follow you into your 30s, 40s, and maybe even your whole life. But it doesn't have to be like that. You don't need to be rich. You don't need a crazy income. And you don't need to go viral or start some huge business. You just need to start. Start saving, start tracking, start being intentional. Even if it's just $5. Because the difference between people who stay broke and people who become financially stable is that one group took action and the other didn't. So here's what I want you to do. This week, pick one thing from this video. Open the account, track your spending, save your first $5, just one, and actually do it. Because a year from now, you're either going to wish you started today or be glad that you did. Your choice. I'll see you in the next one.